Perhaps you've been watching the NBA or NHL playoffs or determining if your NFL team got great second-round value in the fourth round of the draft. It's possible that you didn't notice that nearly 20% of this rule-changing season has already been completed. 5 weeks of play will conclude today. So consider this a public service to play some catch-up. Consider this like the Iowa caucuses or the New Hampshire primaries when it comes to gaining an early read on who will win the elections. You know, the important elections for MVP and Cy Young. It's time to do some digging in. For whatever it's worth, the leaders in Fangraphs' war last year through April were Manny Machado and Nolan Arenado, who finished second and third respectively in the NL MVP voting. Jose Ramirez led the AL and finished fourth in the AL MVP voting. But Seattle's J.P. Crawford, who was fourth through April, had a nice year, but he didn't get a single MVP vote. So remember that this is like having pixels of a picture, but not the whole picture. With that said, let's give out some first-month hardware. Okay, let me make this as simple as possible in the American League, where there's a lot of terrific players having superb seasons. But Shohei Ohtani has hit 7 homers on the way to a 144 OPS plus, and he has allowed 7 runs on the way to a 246 ERA plus. And at least so far, the Angels are an above 500 team, a half game out of a playoff spot. So non-contention can't be held against Ohtani this year, at least so far. If there wasn't one human being doing all that Ohtani is again doing, we could be talking about the left side of the Blue Jay infield, Bo Bichette and Matt Chapman, or that Juan DeFranco's coming out party is in full this year, and that his Rays teammate Randy Arozarena has had some of those rough edges rubbed off this year and is playing in the first month like he normally does in the last month in the playoffs. But they are all running second because there is a unicorn who has 12 extra base hits this season as a hitter, or one more than the total number of hits he has allowed in 6 starts. Stop. Deep breath. The guy who hits third in the Angel lineup has allowed 11 hits in 6 starts. What would you think if Garrett Cole were hitting third for the Yankees right now? As for the NL, Ronald Acuna Jr. appears all the way back. 5 homers, a Major League best 14 steals, a 362 average, a 1035 OPS. He was the NL MVP frontrunner in early July of 2021 when he blew out his knees. He was just returning to the Braves roster at about this time last year. He had a good season, but not what we've come to expect. He appears to be Ronald Acuna Jr. again. His teammate Sean Murphy is having a superb debut campaign with the Braves. And if you're wondering why the A's are struggling so much, consider that in their teardown, among others, they traded Matt Chapman, we mentioned him with the Blue Jays, and Murphy. They lead the AL and the NL respectively in OPS. Perhaps the most interesting 5-week NL MVP candidate is the guy who won it in 2019. Remember him? Cody Bellinger, who thereafter seemed to forget how to hit. Non-tendered by the Dodgers, Bellinger has revived to date with the Cubs. 7 homers, 5 steals, a 973 OPS, and familiar stellar defense in center field. I think Garrett Cole is the current AL Cy Young leader. He leads the league in innings, is second in strikeouts in ERA, and I actually think he'd have a heck of an MVP case right now with so much crumbling around him with the Yankees. The team is 7-0 when he starts and 9-15 otherwise. Ohtani has a 102 batting average against, but Cole has permitted the same amount of runs, 7, as Ohtani, despite throwing 12 2/3 more innings. Minnesota's Sonny Gray has a 0.77 ERA, but he's thrown 11 2/3 innings fewer than Cole. Arizona's Zach Gallen had his 28-inning scoreless streak end on Tuesday night against the Rangers. Still, he's leading the NL in innings, has 57 strikeouts against just 5 walks, a 2.53 ERA, and a 1.99 batting average against. But there are a lot of arguments, including for a bunch of more unfamiliar candidates, such as the Cubs' Justin Steele, the Braves' Bryce Elder, and the Reds' Graham Ashcroft. And then there's a guy who has a 1.89 ERA, a 0.76 whip, 5 walks and 41 strikeouts in 38 innings. Has everyone noticed how great Clayton Kershaw has been? Will his back hold up to allow Kershaw to chase a 4th Cy Young award? For that, we'll have to wait for more primaries and more pixels to fill in.